Hi, and welcome everybody to another edition of the Wise Guys Sports Betting Podcast right here on the Picks and Parlays YouTube channel. My name is Ross Benjamin. I'm your host, and I'm joined by fellow Picks and Parlays .net sports betting experts, Mr. Jesse Schule and Mr. Sean Higgs. We're talking baseball today, guys. We got 3 baseball games we're going to cover. And that's what we got for you. We're going to go 3-0 today, by the way. I just wanted to alert you on that before we get started. Jesse, how are you?
Doing pretty good, Ross. The college basketball season is over, but we ended it on the right side. And the fact that I had a side instead of a total would probably shock you and Sean. Since I've been riding unders the entire way, I felt like I was pushing my luck if I had gone with the under in the final. So took UConn instead. That worked out just fine.
Yeah, nobody wants to step in front of UConn, according to you two guys. If you're not familiar with the term, Sean came with, whenever you have a dominant team that's red hot like UConn, Sean always likes to use
Sean did not come up with that.
Don't step in front of UConn. Well, Jesse has inherited that saying, and if Sean said horseshoe, and everybody started laughing, Jesse would say horseshoe every day too. So any event, again, I'm just joking with you, Jess. You know that. You know me. Anyway, Mr. Higgs, horseshoe, how are you?
Yeah, pretty good. Horseshoe day yesterday, winning day, baseball out of the gate pretty fast. MLB, I'm excited. College basketball's over. I had a nice March, but overall I had a little losing season to college hoops. It happens. What am I going to do? We move on. I'm winning seasons right now in NBA and NHL, and Major League Baseball off to a good start. So you got to make up for it other spots, which I've been doing.
Yeah, I pressed my luck yesterday, and I did take the under, Jesse, and it came through with flying colors. It didn't start out very well. We're looking at 40 points or so in the first 10 minutes of the game, but it slowed down to a crawl after that as UConn just buckled up defensively, and the game ended 75-60, staying well under the total of 145.5. Finished the NCAA tournament 17-10. Pretty happy with that. All sports right now, 27-18 with my last 45. That's 60%, folks. You need to keep an eye on my Major League Baseball now, okay? Because I'm not as 5-4 this year, but going back to August 4th of last year, I am around 63% win percentage, and I don't give out big favorites, folks, over at picksandparlays.net. Don't forget, for all 3 of us, you can get 20% off any package, whether it be a single game, multi-game, daily package, or subscription plans of 7, 3, 7, and 30 days, just by simply using the promo code Lenny, Lenny, at checkout. All right, let's get to our free picks at hand. And Jesse, we're going to start with you in the Brewers and the Reds game. Right now, the Reds are a $1.40 home favorite, or minus 140, whatever terminology you want to use. And the total in this game is 9.5. Yesterday, the Reds 9-7 win. Both of these bullpens suck. I don't know what other way to put it. They're terrible. But any event, Jesse, what do you got on this game?
Yeah, well, the Reds and bad bullpens are something that seem to go together like peanut butter and jelly. So I don't want to have anything to do with the Reds bullpen today, or the Brewers bullpen for that matter. I'm going to look at the first 5 innings. Both these teams are knocking the ball around. They're both above average in runs scored. The Reds ranked 9th in scoring. And we got a matchup of Joe Ross versus Frankie Montas. Ross, he's only pitched 3 2/3 innings, gave up just 2 hits, but he walked 5 batters. He puts too many men on base. The guy's asking for trouble in Great American Ballpark, is not a place where you want to put men on base. I think he's going to get roughed up here by a Reds team that's fully capable of doing so. Montas, on the other hand, 2-0, 0.77 ERA, 9 Ks. He's been, what did he toss? 6 scoreless innings against the Nationals in his debut, followed up with 5 2/3 innings, 1 run, 5 hits, 5 strikeouts against a much tougher Philadelphia team. A lot more faith in Montas than I do in Joe Ross. And the Reds at home, give me Reds first 5 innings, minus 140. Keep the bullpens out of it, Ross. Don't want to have anything to do with those bullpens.
Absolutely. And more people used to start thinking of doing that. We live in a day and age right now in Major League Baseball where pitching is all about specialization. And yes, we've always had to account for the bullpens, but you can no longer rely on a starting pitcher going 7, 8 innings or more. It does happen, but it's a real rarity these days. And sometimes when you have two lousy bullpens, or you like a side, or you like a starting pitcher, Jesse made a very good point with Joe Ross having an advantage over his counterpart in terms of starting pitching. And he's saying, well, the Reds bullpen's terrible. So is Milwaukee's. I'm not going to rely on the bullpen. I'm going to rely on my starting pitcher. And I think we're going to have the lead after 5 innings. Just because of the starting pitching matchup. Sean?
Yeah, Montes. And listen, as a Yankee guy, it's typical. You go to the Yankees, you're terrible, you get hurt, and you don't pitch all. And you come here to Cincinnati a la Sonny Gray like last year and turns into Cy Young in 2 starts. I like the Reds here as well. I'd be like, let's just go run line there with the Reds instead of the first 5. But I get to thinking, take the bullpen out of the equation and roll with the Reds first 5. I like it. I like it.
Yeah, I think more, and I made a mistake. I said Joe Ross. I meant Montas as far as having an advantage. But I think Milwaukee got off to fool's gold when it comes to the start they've had. I don't know how you guys feel, but I look at this roster and their pitching staff and the losses they took personnel-wise going back to last year. I just don't think this is a team that's going to be contending. And even in the NL Central, which I think is you could win this division by winning 88 games possibly this year. Jesse, any thoughts in that regard?
Well, Milwaukee's been getting it done with very little for several years in a row now.
That's true.
The offensive, but right now they rank quite highly offensively, and I think you'll see them come down to earth. Certainly, their bats should come down to earth. And yeah, no more Corbin Burns. That's a big loss. So, somehow they've managed to find guys that can fill innings with their pitching staff and find new and creative ways to win enough games to stay relevant. But I guess you make a good point, Ross. Their luck is bound to run out one of these days.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sean. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, and the Brewers, I've always liked them because you had Burns, you had Woodruff. Peralta's a solid guy. They can't get any bats.
Woodruff's out. Isn't Woodruff out right now?
Exactly. I'm just saying he's out now.
Yeah.
They've always had good pitching. Yeah. The bats were always lacking. And they're still – now you have no Woodruff. You trade Burns. Yelich is better. I mean, you're relying on Churio and Sal Frelick, a young guy, supposed to be pretty good for him. Like, you can't go out and sign a bat. That the division is wide open. Reds are young. You don't know what they're going to be offensively. They could be really good, those young guys, but you don't know.
They traded away a premier closer in Josh Hader. And
then the guy who's a pretty good setup guy gets hurt for you.
Yeah. All right, so let me get to my game, and that game is between the Philadelphia Phillies and the St. Louis Cardinals. Game being played at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. I'm looking at the total in this game, which is 7.5. And as far as weather conditions go, it should be ideal for baseball tonight. Weather in the 60s and light winds of 4 miles an hour or so. So nothing to account for there right now. If you look at the St. Louis Cardinals and the Philadelphia Phillies, Philly has gone under the total in their last 5. Neither one of these teams is what I was going to say with St. Louis and Philly are hitting worth a darn right now. Both, I think Philly's somewhere around 214 as a team, or St. Louis, I'm sorry, 214 as a team, and the Phillies 230. The Phillies bullpen has been erratic at home, and a lot of that has to do with the bandbox in which they play at. Philadelphia's ballpark is notoriously known as hitter friendly. But on the road, they've been pretty good. In 4 road games, their ERA is right under 2, so they're performing well on the road. Sonny Gray gets his first start of the season, but he's got his history of getting off to good starts in the month of April. And I fully expect him to at least give them 5 solid innings tonight, and especially against a team that's struggling to hit like St. Louis is right now. And Wheeler, the starter for the Philadelphia Phillies, he's been outstanding over his first 2 starts. 0.75 ERA, 0.75 WHIP, and again, he's given them 6 innings pitched on each occasion. St. Louis's bullpen is not great, but it's solid. And with the total being 7.5, that raises my eyebrows a little bit because, my knee-jerk reaction is I thought this total was a little low, but after looking inside the numbers, I think it's justified and pretty accurate. So I'm going to go under the total of 7.5 in the Phillies and the Cardinals. Jesse?
I like the look, Ross. I don't have much to add. I mean, I'm trying to talk myself into the Cardinals, perhaps for a first 5 inning plus a half in a low scoring game. But yeah, perhaps the under is the better play.
Yeah, I almost called him Blake Wheeler, the guy from the Winnipeg
Blake
Jets.
Wheeler plays for the Winnipeg Jets.
That's what I just said, yeah. So, and God forbid I would have made that mistake because, as you well know, any kind of grammatical error like that, we get jumped all over. But in any event, I didn't. And Sean, I'm not asking you to know what Wheeler.
I would know who Blake Wheeler is anyway. I barely know Zach Wheeler.
Yeah, so Blake Wheeler is a high-scoring forward for the Winnipeg Jets. Anyway,
I would lean Phillies here just because I got Sonny Gray in his first start. Yesterday I grabbed the little Nats in my little midday money. I'm like, Nats on a run line here with Snell. Snell had no spring training, no minor league rehabs. He just came in off simulations, walked some guys. And again, I got another guy, Sonny Gray, 30-ish kind of guy. What am I getting out of him? Your first start off of an injury, they push him back. You think, I don't care if the guy's throwing a perfect game. You think he's going to go more than 5 or 6 innings? No. So, I would lean the Phillies. But as you said, both teams not really hitting well. I think the under is the way to go. I don't think Gray's going to come in here and get shelled. That's not usually his MO. So, under 7.5 looks good.
Yeah, I would. My theory is I agree with you, Sean. I mean, coming off an injury and then pushing him back to making his first start in the second week of April now. I fully expect that he's not going to go more than 5 or 6 innings. And if I can get 5 innings out of him the way the hitting team he's facing, which is struggling right now, and the bullpen being pretty solid, we'll see. I mean, again, the Philadelphia bullpen, when you look at their overall numbers, not very good. But when you look at their 4 games on the road, the night and day in terms of how their bullpen performs so far on the road compared to at home. All right, let's get
Hold on, Jesse got something to add real fast.
Go ahead, Jess.
Yeah, I want to withdraw any love for taking Sonny Gray for the first 5 after Sean mentioned his first start was pushed back. And I will point out that Snell, I did do a video on Snell yesterday. He started the 2023 season 0-4 with a 5.48 ERA in his first 5 starts. He started the 2022 season 0-5 with a 5.60 ERA in his first 6 starts. He finished both those seasons with great numbers overall, so no surprise to see Snell get shelled in his debut. And I would suggest his next 3-4 starts have a look at betting against Blake Snell.
Okay, there you go. Good points, Jesse. And Jesse wants us to retract his statement about Sonny Gray, and we'll allow him to do that. All right, so Sean, gets to you. It's a flat world with Sean Higgs, and RFK or JFK was shot by the government, and whatever other theories he wants to use. Do you have any? You got the Dodgers and Twins.
Magnets and basketballs. We're going to go magnets and basketballs.
Right, yeah. So the Dodgers and the Twins. Is there any conspiracy theory here on this minus 190 favorite for the Dodgers and the total being 8.5 or the run line, whatever you prefer?
I guess the conspiracy would be if I took the Dodgers minus 190. I got to go run line here. I got to take the flat earth. Let's wear a flat earth t-shirt. I'm not a huge first 5 kind of guy, and I'll take the Dodgers here. And this is just Glass now is a solid kind of guy. You're going to get your 5 or 6 plus here. He's going to strike out a bunch of guys. the Twins lineup, they lost Royce Lewis and 2 runs, 1 runs, 2 runs. There's a 7. There's an oddball 7 in there. Then you see 2 runs. Then you see 0 runs, 5 runs or 4 runs at KC. Again, not huge offense from this club at all. I'm expecting more of the same. And again, the Dodgers, great MVPs at the top of lineup. I'm not huge fans of the lower part of lineup, but if you're telling me they're not going to push 4 or 5 runs across the plate here against a journeyman type guy, well, I disagree. Verlin's going to give up, even though he's a lefty. I know it's like Dodgers lefty, he's not that good. They're good enough. They get to the old underbellies of the bullpen, as we like to point up, these middle reliever kind of guys. Give me the Dodgers run line here. This game should be like a 5-2 kind of an affair. I'll lay to 115, and that's the way we'll go.
I think Tyler Glasnow, you can make a case for him being one of the more underrated starting pitchers in the league. Now, I know he has gotten a lot of accolades over the last couple seasons, but it's not as much as guys that have pitched in a bigger market. Remember, Glasnow spent the early part of his career in Tampa Bay, which is not exactly a mecca in Major League Baseball in terms of attention or media coverage. So, Jesse, your thoughts?
Yeah, I cannot disagree. Glasnow's been solid for a while, though. I mean, even in Pittsburgh, he was pretty good. Dodgers. I mean, it seems pretty straightforward. Betts, Freeman, Ohtani. How about over 3.5 at bats in the first inning? That's another surefire winner.
There you go.
Oh, the Dodger at bats. It's 3.5 at bats. That is our old pal, Mr. Numbers. It's hit every single game. Okay. That over 3 at bats for the Dodgers, taking 4 guys to the plate in the first inning. Although it's juicy, it's always over 2-1 odds.
Yeah, and how many sports books actually give that out, Sean, as an option?
I think that's a FanDuel or a DraftKings kind of thing.
Yeah. So again, when we start mentioning stuff like that, and that's why we don't give out picks of that nature as our free picks, because some of you might not have that sports book.
That's a little more off the board.
It was more of a shout out to Mr. Numbers, given to pop him up a little bit.
He's a genius, that man. He's this answer.
Fan of the show. He deserves credit. Credit's due.
Not that I'm going conspiracy down the road, but I like to. Did you see what Glasnow said the other day about the pitchers getting hurt, where he talked about the sticky, and he thinks the sticky has something to do with these guys getting hurt now? He's like, because he said he goes, a lot of pitchers use it to get a grip. He's like, a lot of times pick up the ball, it's sandy, it's not good. He's like, now these guys are all getting hurt because there's nothing, they're kind of like twisting their elbows. He blamed it on them banning the sticky. That's what he said the other day. That
makes more sense to me than the pitch clock, because
yes.
I'm not a real believer that the pitch clock's actually tearing UCLs.
It's the sticky. Now you're just too much. You're throwing too much torque. They say it's before you had a good grip of it. Now it slips out of your hand, or however the case may be. I'm not a professional pitcher, but that's what he said. He thinks is causing. Interesting.
Well, I mean, it's you got it with a pitcher the caliber of Tyler Glasnow. You got to take what he says seriously. You don't have to agree with it, but it's certainly something that should be considered. In any event. We don't get the sticky, but we do make picks over at picksandparlays.net. And don't forget, you can get all of our picks, folks, single game, multi-game, daily packages, as well as subscription plans, 3, 7, 30-day. And again, you use the promo code Lenny at checkout, and you'll get 20% off anything you purchase over at picksandparlays.net. Jesse, there's a like button right underneath.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button, folks. It's a small token of your appreciation for the work, time, and effort we put into bringing you a quality podcast here once a week. And don't forget to subscribe to Picks and Parlays YouTube channel. It's absolutely free to do so. And if you have subscribed already, thank you. And if you haven't, this goes for you, new subscribers and people who have subscribed. Go into your YouTube settings and click on the alert notification bell for Picks and Parlays YouTube channel. You'll be notified upon any content from all our sports betting experts going up right here on our channel. We'll be back next week again with Jesse and Sean. From all of us, we wish each and every one of you all the very best this week. Take care and God bless, folks.